For those of us who celebrate, it is one of the most important days of the year. It's Mario Day. As silly as it seems to say, I love this little Mario guy so much. Me and him, yeah, we go way back. Ever since I was a kid, I have been obsessed with Super Mario. And as I've grown up, I've really realized just how much this series means to me. And another thing I've come to realize my appreciation of is video game soundtracks. Oftentimes, the musical pieces within video games are just as memorable and well made as the actual video games themselves. And this is absolutely the case for the Super Mario series. The Mario games are filled with unforgettable, well-crafted melodies, which range from orchestral masterpieces to perhaps the most well-known video game songs of all time. These games have so many melodies that are instantly catchy, but also very nuanced and complex. So for this special Mario Day, I want to look back through the history of this series that means so much to me and reminisce on and analyze my favorite compositions from each game. Now, for some reason, the mainline Mario games aren't exactly super defined. There's like 4 hours worth of video on it on YouTube, but I'm not here to discuss that. I'm just gonna say these games on screen are what I will be looking at. These are all games I consider mainline that also have standout soundtracks. I'm skipping the Lost Levels, New Super Mario Bros. 2, and New Super Mario Bros. U, because for those soundtracks,
there's nothing.
I do consider these games main entries, but they just repeat previous games' OSTs and really only have 1 or 2 unique songs. Also, I love these games' soundtracks so much that I'm gonna give at least 1 honorable mention to each. Alright, let's go down the nostalgic warp pipe and reminisce on my favorite song from every Mario game. Do y'all know this game? Going all the way back to the NES is of course Super Mario Bros. And for being such a historic game, there are only 5 songs in the whole OST. There's the ever iconic overworld theme, also iconic underground theme, underwater theme, castle theme, and Starman theme. The early NES was very limited in what it could do for music, but these songs all have such strong melodies that they make up for being so simple. The one that gets my honorable mention here is the underwater theme. This is one of the more complex compositions with the bass, lead, and percussion. The lead melody has this nice swaying quality to it, which is perfect for moving through underwater. My favorite song, though, is the famous underground theme. This one is probably the simplest song of the OST, but I have always just loved the melody of the underground theme. There's 2 parts, the quick notes with a long rest in between them, and then the accelerating line at the end. Both of these parts sound so funky, but just have the slightest bit of tension for the environment of the underground. I wouldn't say this is my favorite rendition of the underground theme, but at the core, the melody is what I like, and here it is just that. The underground theme is one of the most iconic themes from the series for a good reason. It's an awesome, funky melody with a little tension and weirdness within it. So that brings us to Super Mario Bros. 2 USA. Fun fact about this game, it's actually a reskin of Oh my god, okay, I'm sorry. This soundtrack also doesn't have too much to pick from, so my favorite ended up as a bit of a basic choice, but it's gotta be the overworld theme. I mean, how could I not? This is another of the most memorable songs out of the Super Mario series. And this one actually takes a lot of inspiration from jazz, which is really cool. It's basically a ragtime piano song. Ragtime and jazz often use this fancy thing called syncopation, where the offbeats of a rhythm are emphasized. It produces a very bouncy, rhythmic feeling, so a lot of Mario OSTs use it. It makes sense. It is perfect for a platformer game where you are literally bouncing around. I also think this genre sounds super fun in chiptune, and this song's melody specifically is such an earworm. My honorable mention goes to the character select theme. I love the first section where the melody cuts off for the percussion fills. Again, it's very jazzy. But the overworld theme is just a perfectly bouncy and memorable melody that is very fitting for such an iconic platforming series. The final NES entry is Super Mario Bros. 3, and this is where things started to get very hard for me. I think Super Mario Bros. 3's soundtrack is some of Koji Kondo's best work, and picking just one from this soundtrack felt nearly impossible. Every single song in this soundtrack has an easily identifiable melody that is infectiously catchy. Any of my honorable mentions could probably end up as my favorite depending on the day, but my first of a couple is just the first map theme. This one is pretty simple, but I love the melody so much, and the percussion sounds so nice on NES. I will very hesitantly say the runner-up honorable mention is the athletic theme. This is another fun and memorable syncopated melody. The different sections and the transitions between them are amazing. The song flows so smoothly, which is so great for platforming with a Tanuki Leaf. The song feels like flying around. But I think what narrowly beats this one is my favorite, the Hammer Bros battle theme. First of all, the intro to this song is great. It starts with an intimidating line to set the tone of a battle, but then switches up to a really groovy percussion and bass line. And then the lead melody is the perfect blend of the two. It's groovy, catchy, and fun, but still has the slightest hint of danger within it. It's genuinely insane how strong this melody is. It just works. It's like perfect. Almost makes up for how terrible the Hammer Bros battles are. As I've mentioned before, I love the way the percussion sounds on NES, and the groove here is so fun. It's actually what gave it the slight edge over the athletic theme. Also, fun fact, the Dr. Mario Fever theme remix is part of this theme, which is pretty cool. Anyways, I think the soundtrack of Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of Koji Kondo's top works, and nearly any of these songs could be a favorite, but for now, I think it's the Hammer Bros. Battle theme. Moving over to the Game Boy is the first handheld Super Mario entry, Super Mario Land. You're hearing it already. The overworld theme is so iconic. It's another of the catchiest Super Mario songs. I love how every melody line ends with a fun little fill, and again, it's a composition that uses rhythm and melody so effectively to make a nearly perfect tune. But what if I told you this theme is just my honorable mention? My actual favorite would have to be the Underground theme. This is an Underground theme that actually doesn't reference the Super Mario Bros. Underground theme, but still goes so hard. This song has a very unique feeling to it, as it takes on a sort of Middle Eastern sound. This is from both the bass line and lead melody, using notes which are half steps away or close together, and also the use of trilling, which is basically just switching between notes very quickly. This vibe works so well for Mario Land's setting of Sarasa Land, which has a major area area based on Egypt. I really like the Middle Eastern musical style, and the way the melody combines that with a sense of danger works perfectly for the underground. It really feels like you're traveling through the inner workings of a pyramid or something, and I love the bass line so much. It's great how the main melody actually fades out for a bit, so just the bass gets some time to shine. As nostalgic as Mario Land's main theme is, the underground theme has such an exciting blend of Middle Eastern style and dangerous vibes that has really stuck with me. Moving on to the Super Nintendo is Super Mario World. This game was a massive leap forward for the Super Mario series in pretty much every regard, which includes its music. The Super Nintendo was able to handle much more than the NES, and Koji Kondo definitely got to flex his musical genius here. There are so many iconic songs from this game, but for me, it was actually pretty easy to decide on one. Before I get to that though, I want to go through a couple honorable mentions I have for this game. First up is the overworld theme. It's yet another catchy ragtime piece that has quite a few different sections, which are all amazing. My last honorable mention is the boss fight theme. This game's boss theme is one of my favorite boss themes in the series, and there's some really cool Latin influence here. The lead melody lines are great, but when it's just the groove, it sounds so sick. But the obvious favorite I alluded to earlier is the staff roll. Again, this is a ragtime jazz-inspired piece, but since it isn't for the platforming levels, it has a much slower tempo, and it sounds so emotional. The slower tempo is a huge part of this song's emotional and nostalgic quality, but the composition also really effectively blurs the line between major and minor keys, which works so well for credits themes. It's a whimsical celebration song, but still makes you want to cry. This theme is just so overwhelmingly bittersweet. You've won, defeated Bowser, got the princess, and made a new friend. But now, all of that is just memories, and those feelings are captured so well in this composition. It's truly the most staff roll I have ever heard, and one of my favorite credits themes in the entire series. Now going back to the Game Boy is Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, and yeah, as iconic of a musical catalog Super Mario has, I don't really care for this game's OST. Kazumi Totaka composed this song, and he is amazing, but this game's music is just sorta mid to me. I wasn't too familiar with the OST to begin with, and after listening through it, not a lot left an impact in the way other Mario soundtracks do. But there is one song that really stuck out, and that is Wario's Castle. After all of the mid songs in this game, this one hits like a truck. This song is so sick. I love the rhythm of the bass line, and the lead synth has so much tension and evilness baked within it. The song feels so tense and really gives the feeling of building up to something big, which it is. You fight Wario in this game. That's so cool. What? So toward the end of the song, there's this cool descending line thing that leads to the lead synth going super high. It's kind of like a little breakdown thing and layers everything in such a cool way. The two lines in the song work together so well, and again, that rhythm is so sick. Yeah, I don't have any honorable mentions here. The athletic theme is fine, I guess. But even if the rest of the soundtrack was any better, I think Wario's Castle would still definitely be my favorite from this game.
It's me, Mario!
Super Mario 64 was not only a massive evolution for the Super Mario series gameplay, but also its artistic and musical identity. I think this is another of Koji Kondo's near perfect works. And like Super Mario World, the new abilities of the hardware really allowed him to go even crazier than he has before. Also like Super Mario World, out of this collection of masterful songs, there's a certain composition that has stuck with me so much that it was an obvious pick. But again, I'll go through some honorable mentions before I get to my favorite. The first honorable mention is Koopa's theme. It's such a perfect reflection of Bowser's character. It's so mischievous to the point where it's sorta goofy, but still really intimidating. The drum beat is also so great. I've always thought it's supposed to be like Bowser's footsteps. My other honorable mention may have been what's expected of the top spot, but I gotta mention Dire Dire Docks. This is one of the most ethereal melodies to come out of the Mario series. The layering of these slow, beautiful arpeggios immerses you so well into this state of deep calmness. And all of the sections are so strong and only make the return to that main melody hit all the more harder. But I gotta lock in now. My favorite song in Super Mario 64, and also one of my top favorites in the entire Super Mario series, is Koopa's Road. I'm not sure I can ever put this song into words, but I will do my best. The things this composition makes me feel are otherworldly. This song perfectly sets the tone for the lead up to the battle with Bowser. It has a rising chord progression which always sounds very grand, and when it is combined with the military drum beat, it really feels like you're marching into the most important battle of your life. The light synth that plays the lead melody is so ethereal. Although this is such a treacherous level, the lead instrument has this very beautiful quality to it, which has really resonated with me. This gorgeous beginning section eventually switches to an explosive climatic section, which hits so hard. This song is just the perfect blend of feeling so determined and powerful, while also dangerous and ominous. It is beyond transcendent. I really can't come up with enough words for this song. I may have to make a separate video on it, or just talk about it at length in a related topic. It really deserves it. This is one of Kondo's best compositions, and not only my favorite song from Super Mario 64, but perhaps the Mario series in general. The next 3D Mario is the GameCube's tropical Super Mario Sunshine, and this game's soundtrack is pretty good. It's okay, but not exactly one of my favorites. The game's setting just sticks with the island getaway most of the time, so the soundtrack does as well. It also reuses the Delfino Plaza melody a lot, which is okay because it's a good melody, but yeah, it gets kind of boring. Although there's still some really memorable songs from this game. My favorite isn't too crazy, but it's definitely Bianco Hills. I just really like the melody of this song. It's laid back, but also really upbeat at the same time. The notes hold on for a while and sort of swell into each other, which definitely helps with the relaxed vibe. I also like how the lead instrument switches a lot. It offers variety, which sounds really fun and interesting. I also love the bongos that are added when you're on Yoshi. The quality of the bongos sound contributes really well to the playful feel of the song. My honorable mention goes to Sky and Sea. It's a very pleasant tropical theme that doesn't go too crazy, but it's just really nice and relaxing. But yeah, Bianco Hills is a nice blend of chill but also upbeat, perfect for the summer vacation atmosphere of Super Mario Sunshine. We return to 2D Mario with New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. I absolutely love the DS sound fonts, and New Super Mario Bros. Has so many great examples of it at its best, like my honorable mention, the title theme. The lead flute sounds so amazing on the DS, and the rising melody works so well to get you excited to play. But one thing the title theme doesn't have is the most iconic part of this game's soundtrack. The soundtrack of this game actually interacts with the gameplay on a very subtle level. The enemies freaking dance to the rhythm of the boss in the song, and the charm of this actually very subtly makes you connect with the music on a visual level, which is just so cool, dude, come on. My favorite of these level themes with the boss is the athletic theme. This song's melody is so exciting, and there are so many different instruments going on throughout it that really push that excitement even further. I especially love that weird moany synth that sneaks in toward the middle. The last section switches over to a more chiptune sound, which is so great. The use of switching lead instruments make the song even more fun, and the chiptune feels like a nice nod to older 2D Mario games. And yeah, the bahs here are amazing, especially during the chiptune melody where they double bah. The athletic theme is another exciting level theme for 2D Mario, which is given so much extra charm with the DS sound font and the soundtrack's iconic bahs. Okay, what's next? Ah, fuck. Super Mario Galaxy is widely acclaimed to have one of, if not the best soundtracks in not only Mario's history, but video game history. This soundtrack was Nintendo's first step into using live music for one of their soundtracks, and they did not hold back. Koji Kondo, now alongside Mahito Yokota, composed so many powerful orchestral masterpieces, yet also simple, emotional songs. The sheer variety and quality of Galaxy's music was giving me just as much trouble as Super Mario Bros. 3 did. There are just so many songs in this game that are nearly perfect musically and emotionally, but I did somehow manage to narrow it down to 2 honorable mentions and the favorite. I just lost an arm doing it. My first honorable mention is Gateway Galaxy. Gosh, I don't even know what to say about this song. It's overwhelmingly emotional. The repeating arpeggios are so beautiful, and the slow building of that lead melody is actually stunning. This song perfectly captures the themes of overwhelming loneliness within Mario Galaxy, and never fails to get me teared up. The next song, which is killing me to only have as an honorable mention, is Comet Observatory 3. This song is the perfect mix of the bombastic orchestral songs and melancholic ambient songs within Galaxy. Since this is the hub world theme, you'll probably hear this song the most out of any other in the game, so the fact that it slowly builds as you feel the observatory works perfectly. With all of that said, if I had to pick a favorite from Galaxy, which I do for the video, I think it's Good Egg Galaxy. It pains me to put this over the observatory theme, but the more I listen to it for this video, it just got the edge. This is my favorite opening level theme in the Mario series. The beginning of this song is truly unforgettable. After the lonely atmosphere of space and scattered levels, the orchestra explodes as you slam down onto the first planet. The music perfectly reinforces the feeling of finally getting to explore a level after the lonelier atmosphere of the early game. And the song's first section is so exciting with a group of strings and marching drum beat. Then the second section with the flute is just way too beautiful. I love the way that flutes sound, and here it perfectly captures that sense of curiosity and adventure of a first level. And then it builds into one of the most breathtaking final sections in a Mario song. It's just utterly transcendent. It makes me genuinely choke up every time. I'm actually at a loss for words. Mario Galaxy's soundtrack is filled with stunning moments like this, and Good Day Galaxy just hits especially hard for me. Squished in between the two Galaxy games on Wii is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And fun fact about this game, it was actually my first video game ever. I turned out okay. A lot of the songs in this game are burned deep into my memory. A few of the songs in this OST are remixes of New Super Mario Bros. Songs, but there are some solid new tracks, like my honorable mention, the Volcano theme. It has such a cool groove to it, and hearing the Boz but evil are very fun. And my favorite actually wasn't super hard to choose, even though I have such deep memories with all these songs. It was pretty obviously the forest level theme. I don't know, I've always just loved this song. The bongo drum beat is very playful and fitting for the jungle setting, and there's something about the way the strings sound that has always really scratched my brain. I also love that marimba sounding instrument that comes in the last section. Again, it just fits the vibe of the jungle so well. I love New Super Mario Bros. Wii's soundtrack, but the forest level theme has always left a really big impression on me from its unique vibe and instrumentation. And now we return to Super Mario Galaxy's orchestral beauty with Super Mario Galaxy 2. This game definitely continues the quality of Super Mario Galaxy's OST, with both grand orchestral pieces and slower melancholic pieces, which means that for this game, it was also quite difficult to choose a favorite. But the honorable mention here goes to Yoshi Star Galaxy. This song is literally just Yoshi if he was a song. It is so infectiously happy sounding. I love the two main sections in this song, and those marimba lines are so Yoshi coded. Why did I write that? Anyways, my favorite song is maybe the complete opposite of Yoshi Star Galaxy. Instead of a light-hearted song in the early game, it is an epic song in the late game, the final Bowser battle. While this song starts off the same as Galaxy's final Bowser theme, it turns into what I would argue is actually the better of the Galaxy's final boss themes. I absolutely love the chanting choir in these songs, and Galaxy 2 gets so much more use out of the choir than Galaxy 1. The choir does most of the main melody, and there's also some beautiful higher female vocals as well. It's genuinely on some Dark Souls shit, and it makes this battle feel capital G grand. Like, this is the fate of fucking everything, dude. And what really pushed this one over Yoshi Star Galaxy is the rising climax section in this song. This section is hopeful, terrifying, beautiful, and emotional. It's just raw as fuck. This is among the most epic songs Nintendo has ever cooked up for a final battle, and absolutely my favorite from Super Mario Galaxy 2. Back to the handhelds on the 3DS is the forgotten 3D Mario game. Well, Super Mario 3D Land is a game that exists, and its soundtrack is a soundtrack that exists. It's actually not that bad of a soundtrack, but much like the game itself, 3D World just completely mogged it. No, I can't say that. 3D World just completely overshadowed it. It also doesn't help that a lot of songs from this game were reused in 3D World and made a lot better with live instrumentation. With that said, I still enjoyed this soundtrack, and my honorable mention goes to the overworld theme. It's such a great big band song and has a memorable melody and happy vibe. My favorite though is Snowball Park. This is an example of a song that gets such a glow up in 3D World that listening to this one is a little silly, but this is still the same melody and uses a lot of the same instruments, just MIDI. This one is my go-to song when Christmas time comes around each year. It is just so jolly, ho 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 ho. The upbeat and happy melody combined with sleigh bells just hit that holiday note so well. All of the instruments weave together so nicely throughout the song and end up with a very smooth yet exciting song, which pairs really nicely with the slippery ice in the snow levels. I do prefer the 3D World version, but this one is still really fun to listen to and makes me feel very jolly. On to Nintendo's best console, the Wii U, is Super Mario 3D World. I had the whole thing about Super Mario Galaxy being hard to choose from, but I honestly had an equally, if not harder time with Super Mario 3D World's OST. I think this is one of the strongest OSTs in the Mario series, up there with the Galaxy games. If I were to play all of my honorable mentions and talk about them, the video would be like 5 minutes longer, so I'm just gonna give out a few honorable mentions. The first one is Hands-On Hall. The fusion of Chinese and Japanese instruments and also slap bass makes me feel a little something something, I don't know. Okay, final honorable mention is Fort Fire Bros. Techno beat at the beginning of the song has such a cool vibe and kind of reminds me of Brinstar Jungle from Super Metroid, which is peak. And then the flute in this song is otherworldly. I can't even describe it. Alright, I am making myself pick one favorite, and what I chose is Double Cherry Pass. This is such an exciting composition, and every instrument in the song sounds so amazing. I believe it also uses that syncopation technique I had mentioned earlier, and with a full band, it sounds unreal. That bouncy piano riff that starts off the song, extra horns, and especially those freaking violins, dude. Holy shit. The violins play the main melody so beautifully and just carry the song. This composition is just so fun. The melody is so memorable, and like I said, the piano and violin are absolutely insane. It's no wonder this is called Double Cherry Pass, because this song is so perfect. It feels like there's not only one, but two cherries on top. I'll probably make a whole video on 3D World's soundtrack, because if you couldn't tell from how much I've yapped about it, I like it a little bit. Double Cherry Pass especially.
Super Mario Odyssey!
The Nintendo Switch's Super Mario Odyssey has another soundtrack that had a live band play most of it, and combined with the masterful composers at Nintendo, this is yet another banger soundtrack. My first one is Break Free, Lead the Way.
Smash through the blocks that bar your way, yeah. No time for fear, just let it all fall away. Nobody
may be a hot take, but out of the songs with lyrics in this game, I think this one is way better than Jump Up Superstar. It makes such an exciting ending to the game. My second honorable mention may be a lot of people's favorite, but I of course gotta mention Steam Gardens. It's of course one of the few pieces Kondo came back to compose for the game, and the guys still got it. I love the surf rock genre for a forest level of all things. It really makes this one stand out, but my favorite here was undeniably Bowser's Castle. Kondo also composed this one, and holy shit, this song is transcendent. Like Steam Gardens, this sounds insane for the context of the setting. Of course, Bowser's Castle looks like traditional Japan in the game, but it's still a freaking Bowser's Castle level. Hearing this beautiful Japanese soundscape on the way to Bowser is so wild. The beginning of this song especially is unreal. With the shakuhachi and koto, my feet lift off the ground a little bit. I love the sound of traditional Japanese folk music, and when that sound is applied to this ethereal score, it's actually insane. This song is pretty similar to another of my favorites, Koopa's Road. It's another song tied to the lead up to Bowser that has an ethereal soundscape with a rising chord progression and a contrasting chaotic climax section, except this one's Japanese, so it's like way cooler. Another of my favorites in the entire series. Well, now we can get to the final game, the series' grand return to 2D, Super Mario Wonder. Wonder's soundtrack is pretty good, I guess. Maybe because it's so relatively recent, but this soundtrack didn't stick with me too much. But with a certain two songs, it actually really stuck with me. The first is my honorable mention, the airship theme. The electric guitar and drums are insane on this song, and the groove is so nasty. Are we sure this can be in a kid's game? The lead guitar with that whiny feedback is also way too good. I love stuff like that. The only thing holding this song back is that it references the Mario Maker Super Mario Bros. Airship theme. I have been avoiding remixes, so this one is just an honorable mention. My favorite would be the final battle theme. Wonder's final battle is actually rhythm-based, so it's no wonder this song stuck with me so much. No wonder. The groove here is really sick, which it kinda has to be an effective rhythm-based boss theme. The crowd chanting on beat is so cool. Just the fact this final battle is rhythm-based and themed around a concert is so epic. The electric guitar scratches my brain so good, and the techno elements that come in sound so cool. Another small thing I like is those charging up sound effects. They feel really reminiscent of the jumping you have to do on beat, which just pushes that rhythmic element even more. This is such a cool song. The fact you're interacting with the music like this in a Mario game is really great and makes this a very exciting listen in and out of game. But for now, that's it for the mainline Mario games, so this is my final favorite song I will be talking about today. It's kind of crazy just how consistently amazing and diverse the Super Mario series musical catalog has been. The games cover a wide variety of musical genres and emotional qualities with expertise, from Koji Kondo to Mahito Yokota and all of the other amazing musical minds at Nintendo. Whether they're played by full bands or 8-bit beeps and boops, all of these games have such memorable melodies and compositions that have such a special place in my heart. The Super Mario series has run consistently throughout my life, from playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii to playing Super Mario Wonder, and the soundtracks within them are one of my favorite parts of my experiences with them. I have so many amazing memories with these games and their soundtracks, and with just how many songs are in this series, I'd love to hear all of your favorite songs and memories from the Mario soundtracks, so please comment below. Hopefully some of you care about this like I do. Well, anyways, happy Mario Day everyone, and thank you so much for watching my video. I was referencing when Mario says, thank you so much for playing my game. I'm not an idiot. I can talk.